Welcome back to Loose Talk. This week we're taking advantage of the relative lull in the Republican primary campaign to drop in on Chicago, and more specifically to drop in on the Obama campaign headquarters, which is just behind us in the Prudential Plaza building, where they're taking up an entire floor. Already 300 full-time Obama staff are working on his re-election campaign, even though it doesn't formally start for another several months.
Well, it grows each week. It started off with just a handful of us, and now we're in the low hundreds. But instead of being in Washington with the White House staff, we're 100% focused on the states here, and so you actually have regional pods in which people are focused on a specific group of states, and they're dedicated every day to ensuring that we're reaching out to undecided voters in those states and really talking about the president's vision of building an economy that lasts, where hard work and responsibility are rewarded and everybody plays by the same set of rules.
Having covered the 2008 campaign for the FT, I've already seen a lot of familiar faces who are back here working again for Mr. Obama in 2012, but there is one big difference, namely that he doesn't face a primary challenge, and all the while the Republicans are squaring off against each other and likely to do so in spite of Mitt Romney's lead, probably right up until the calendar ends in June. All that while the Obama campaign is gradually building up its presence in all 50 states, and by the time the Republican primary ends, we're going to have a full general election Obama machine in operation.
We've had a year to build our organization. The Republicans have been in states. Very briefly, on the day of the New Hampshire primary, Romney's campaign had a for lease sign on the door of their office, so they're in and out of states. We've been there to stay over the course of the past 3 years. The Republicans are betting that they can win this campaign on the air. Our belief is that our decisive edge will be on the ground.
Now, of course, elections are decided by far bigger macro factors out there that affect the mood of voters: petrol prices, unemployment rates, how fast they're falling, the economic growth rate, and so forth. But to the extent that the campaign logistics really matters, then this is a very important edge that the Obama campaign feels it's gaining every day. One example is that in Ohio, which is once again going to be a pivotal swing state in the general election, last week the Obama campaign trained 500 full-time volunteers just for the state of Ohio alone. Now, in spite of all these logistical advantages that the campaign is indeed making the most of while they can, no amount of YouTube channels or iPad apps or t-shirt designers for the campaign is going to make much of a difference if the economy goes wrong. There's that. Then there's also the fact that money really matters hugely. This doesn't come cheap. A national operation in 50 states is not inexpensive, and the signs so far are that although the president has made no less than 110 separate fundraising events since he formally launched his re-election campaign last May, that he's coming well under the informal billion-dollar target that it set itself. And that could start to bite if the economy slows down, if the recovery doesn't pick up as Obama's supporters are hoping it will do towards the general election. I guess, though, having covered the 2008 campaign, if there's one difference of the many that I would highlight, it's that this is professional. It was professional in 2008 too, but there was an enormous amount of grassroots voluntarism in that campaign that simply isn't going to reappear on anything like the scale that it was then in 2012. It's a lot slicker, but it's a lot less inspirational. I'll see you next week on Loose Talk.